If you got big dreams and bad genes, you're in the right place. Only hats I trust with my giant dome. They're giving away free shorts. Purchase at $99 or more. Code Bromley at barbellapparel.com. Link is below. How the hell is everybody doing? Today we're talking about Diamond Gym. It's dangerous gym in America, brother. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna see if there's anything to this shit show or if it is just more self-serious lifters blowing smoke up their own ass that they're harder than they actually are. If you've watched any of my stuff before, you probably know where I'm leaning, but I've been proven wrong before, so we're gonna keep an open mind. Let's get into it.
This is Shay Fletcher, known as Unk, the final boss of Diamond Gym. Diamond Gym is often called the most dangerous gym in America, and that reputation comes from one thing: Shay's unmatched intensity.
Is it because of his unmatched intensity? Or is it because they keep calling themselves that and then make a big deal every time somebody drops a plate on their toe and gets a bloody sock?
Only to face the hardest training sessions of their lives. The brutal.
Does anybody else see this and think of the Scared Straight bit on Saturday Night Live? Like, I want to have a serious critique of this place, but it's so hard because, like, Unk is Keenan, Broccoli Head over here is like Andy Samberg, and he's like trying not to laugh.
One time I was a disillusioned sports agent who wrote a manifesto. I started hanging out with Renee Zellweger.
Hey, that's Jerry Maguire.
Brutal workouts, the no excuses attitude, and the sheer toughness of the environment have made people everywhere ask the same question. What makes Diamond Gym, and especially Unk, so different? Today, we're uncovering the story behind C. Fletcher.
And there's our first red flag, AI audio. What is this, Abdul Ghani? Is this a... Okay, this is a little rabbit hole we're going down. I'm trying to figure out if this is like a slop AI account or the guy's like just repurposing other people's content or if it's all his. He has almost 30 long form videos and these are like pretty well done, like documentary style videos. Well, most of them anyways. Most of these, given the people they feature and the fact that they're pretty well done and they're not overly long, I'm just surprised his sub count isn't higher. All right, I'm gonna give it, I think it's legit. I didn't want to recommend people go watch an account if it was just repurposing, but he's just got a low sub count. And look here, natural body transformation. Oh, check out that difference. Before, after. Bam! This kid's pulling all the goat farmers' daughters. And it makes me happy too, because it probably gave him so much confidence. The fact that he has visible abs, he's got a little bit of muscles popping, and it just goes to show you do not need a crazy transformation. You don't need to add 50 pounds of muscle to your frame to radically improve your physique. Now, you couldn't afford it. Got complacent, bro. First time you see an ab, you're like, I made it. This is my final form. Bro, this goes kind of hard. Look at this. You got concrete walls. He's got a plastic lawn chair. He's got the wanted pictures up in the background. And this guy doesn't have a care in the freaking world. Look at this. A 1 foot by 1 foot desk next to a wall outlet and a window. I would not be surprised if the camera turned and we saw that this was just red bricks on the other side, like Old Boy. And I'm telling you right now, this man is at peace right here. Look at that face. He's got his little isolation chamber with nothing else, no bitches to distract him. He's insulated from the outside world and he's working on himself. This reminds me of me during COVID, bro. I was stuck in our 1-bedroom apartment. My wife had to take conference calls in the living room, so I was literally stuck in our bedroom. I had our tiny ass little glass desk that she got at frickin' Marshall's. It wasn't even meant to be used for anything. And I had to fit my laptop and my little notepad there, and that's how I wrote my books. That's how I got most of the scripts for the videos that ran my channel up while we were all on lockdown. So taking those opportunities to scroll yourself away, ADHD does not exist in this environment. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. I'm so sorry for doubting this guy. Every single motherfucker watching this, stop what you're doing. Go give this guy a follow for no other reason than these dumbbells right here. He made a video about the most dangerous gym in America. Bro, this is the most dangerous gym right here. You got about 9 different health hazards. He looks like he's about to get tetanus, drop a concrete brick on his face, get hit in the face with hail, and get mauled by a tiger all within the same set. I can't even begin to guess what country this is in without sounding like horribly racist. But But I'm gonna guess there aren't a lot of shopping centers with corporate gyms around the corner. I'm just gonna guess this guy doesn't shit into a porcelain white toilet and wipe his ass with triple ply toilet paper. That's all I'm gonna say. All of you that are complaining that it's too hard, man, take a look at where you are right now and pay homage. It's also worth pointing out, this is unacceptable depth. You got a regular bench, you got actual dumbbells. Okay, so it looks like you're in something that looks like civilization right here. And when you do that, you got to get some kind of range. However, when you replace these dumbbells with these dumbbells, and when you're laying on a towel, it looks like he's laying on top of a wooden pallet. Suddenly your half-ass bench press becomes a floor press, which is a legitimate exercise. And the concrete dumbbells just invalidate any criticism that anybody could ever give you. No way bro is squatting. So you got 220, it looks like a piece of rebar. I have no idea what is keeping this string on the bar right here. And I'm sure there's a video somewhere where it just doesn't quite stay put. But you can't even talk shit about the depth. I mean, he's dangling concrete weights from a thin piece of rebar and he's still not skipping leg day. All right, this is pretty fucking cool, dude. This dude's got big dreams and he's not gonna be limited by the unfortunate lack of infrastructure. But it's almost better. This is almost why it's better that you ditch the shiny, optimized, efficient methodology, because the easier shit gets, the more it removes you from the process. You expect it to be easier. You don't engage as much. When you have to make your own fucking dumbbells with, I mean, these look like anchors that he pulled out of the ground. Like somewhere there's a bunch of cars crashing into each other because he pulled the stop sign out of the ground to get the concrete anchor to make it into a dumbbell. Well done, young man. Well done. I'm happy I searched out this guy's channel. I think his videos are legit. You guys should give him a follow. And I just want to give you a quick reminder to go follow my other channels because YouTube did some crazy shit. They nuked all the views from my main channel out of orbit, so now I'm working double time with these other channels. I strive to give you the info and the content that you want to see, but the evil YouTube overlords are keeping you from seeing it. So let's work around it. Subscribe to my channels, hit the notification bell. They're more focused, so I got gym reviews, I got programming stuff. This is reaction. My main channel is going to be video essays. So a lot of the same content, just more niche. Links to those are below. Don't let the bastards win, guys. All right, so now we actually got a little taste of real danger. Let's see if any of this shit holds up.
On May 31st, 1980, in New Jersey, Fletcher was born.
Bro did indeed use stock footage of an African kid. Is that offensive? Let me know in the comments.
According to what he posted in his Instagram story, I was raised around drugs, death, poverty, and murder. Forgive me if my mindset is different. He studied in Newark and earned a bachelor's degree with an impressive 3.8 GPA. Say also attended Rutgers Graduate School, where he was accepted into a joint accelerated program to earn both his Juris Doctorate and Master's in Law, one of the first to be accepted into that program in New Jersey. He mentioned that he took classes, but later paused his studies after having his youngest daughter. In 2014, Fletcher joined the Newark Fire Department after a long and determined journey. It took him 12 years, 4 appeals, 3 lawyers, and 2 tests to finally earn his place.
This is surprising to me, man. I didn't know that. I mean, what? He was accepted into a program to become a lawyer, ended up leaving that, but still becoming a firefighter. I mean, these are high discipline arenas. You can't just be some slapdick and get into these jobs.
Training isn't just a hobby for Shea. It's a way of life that reflects his mindset as both an athlete and a firefighter. Even 6 years ago, Shea was incredibly strong. 500-pound bench press, 685-pound deadlift for 2 reps, 200-pound dumbbell bench press for 5 reps, 315-pound barbell curl for 9 reps, 550-pound squat, 175-pound dumbbell bench press for 12 reps. He was always known for his hard, intense training style, long before he started appearing on social media.
So Unk is a big boy. I don't think anybody doubts that when he was a bit younger, he was probably strong as shit. But the thing is, when he was coming up, he wasn't doing 500 burpees in a workout. He probably wasn't doing weightlifting cardio. Now, there's no reason to be a fat, lazy slob if you want to get bigger and stronger. In fact, being conditioned helps with that. But there is a point where the work that you're doing in the gym has to be oriented towards that specific goal. And all the shit they're doing now, the reason he gets so much slack, it's not because they're trying to motivate and push each other. It's because they're incorporating so much shit that is counterproductive to getting bigger and stronger. CrossFit is a better protocol if you actually want to get stronger than a lot of the shit they're doing. Because if you have some young kids and they're hungry, they survive through it. And if gear is part of the mix, which it almost certainly is, you're going to get a bit of muscle. This type of shit isn't going to turn out a 700-pound deadlifter, I'm telling you.
175-pound dumbbell bench press for 12 reps. He was always known for his hard, intense training style, long before he started appearing on social media.
Keep going! Keep going!
No, he did not just do that. But okay, I was just getting nostalgic right now because homeboy spotting him in the back, that's Russ. You guys that have been around for a while, you remember, me and Russ used to do a little podcast on the side. It's been a long time. But this was the vibe that he brought every time. I mean, he was a guy that would come and he'd turn the lights off at the gym and he'd start telling stories about Sparta. He'd be reciting shit from like the Iliad to try to get people gassed up. He'd just be monologuing, and anybody might walk by and get a glimpse of it out of the corner of their eye and think that's kind of corny. But when you were there, bro, your hair was standing on end. Don't get me started there. Tony should be making millions of dollars being a public speaker because he is one of the most motivating people I've ever been around. So I was just about to be like, bro, I relate to that. Like the intensity, you got your hype man there and things are just going like crazy. But then just, bro, a bridge too far. You go a bridge too far, right? Oh, no, don't do it. Oh, don't do it. Those look like, I don't know what, the 120s, and he just let them free fall. This is where we have to talk about discipline. Discipline is not just holding yourself accountable to like doing the work or going hard or being a beast. I'm disciplined because I'm built different, bro. Part of discipline is having respect for the place you're in, the people around you. And I think what hits a lot of people when they see this bravado is they see it as being performative. It's a lot of, hey, look at me. I mean, all lifters come from an insecure place. He says from himself, like, back in the day, dude, I grew up around death and murder. And if he was in a bad area, maybe there was a lot of drugs and he had a lot of hard shit that he was around. But that makes you vulnerable. It makes you scared. It makes you very reactive. And you end up trying to accumulate things that can give you a little bit of leverage in such a volatile, crazy environment. And this is where guys, getting bigger is one way, but also the way you present yourself just normally. Dropping the bass in your voice, projecting a bit louder, being quicker to get crazy, realizing that, if I'm the guy in the room yelling at people, I can get a response, and that kind of insulates my status. Goddamn, just this one thing. I don't think I've ever passed judgment on somebody so finally as I am right now in this moment, watching him let these 125s just free fall to the ground. In fact, I'd even say the feat of strength nullified, null and void. See? Only coming down, hands barely getting to the top of his head. So we got partial reps, bro, with the elbow wraps. You're not doing floor presses with concrete cylinders hanging off of rusted ass rebar, overloading in the jungle, about to get jumped by a camel spider. Look at this cush ass facility, short stroke in his reps, and just complete disrespect. Gotta do better, bro.
Their intense training style quickly became famous, attracting many well-known fitness influencers to Diamond Gym, including Luke Ellsman, Hussein Farhat, Will Tennyson, Shizzy, Alex Eubank, and the Trend Twins.
This just tells you my boomer bubble that I'm in, because I don't know who any of these people are. Somewhat familiar with the Trend Twins. I've seen a bit of Will Tennyson stuff. I did a sketch of Hussein once just because I stumbled across his image on Google Images, and the SARM build with the broccoli hair just encapsulated the generation. But it is kind of crazy. If these guys are the influencers for like the young kids in the gym today, the fact that now Diamond Gym's become this weird kind of Mecca where they're all going to like talk to Unk and get a workout in and film themselves. Like they're volunteering to basically go through boot camp so somebody can yell at them to do 200 reps of press downs, go run the hill and do 50 burpees. It just goes to show how powerful social media is, better or worse. These cats figured out how to leverage something that's very powerful.
These were some of the top athletes in the industry, but most of them almost couldn't handle the intensity of training with Unk.
When people talk about edema throwing off like the measurements of muscle growth from a protocol, this is the type of shit they're talking about. This is like the 8-hour arm workout from Piana's day, that if you do it, you would be sore for literally weeks and your arms would be like an inch bigger that week just from the swelling alone. You see people start to shut down too with the weights that are light, because you can always take a second and go again. Just like walking upstairs, it starts to burn, but you can always take another step. There's a point where psychologically in this moment, you're like, this really hurts, but also why am I doing this? This would get to me. They got the one single chain dangling off either side. It doesn't even make it that unstable. You don't get the weight differential. This is maybe a 12-pound difference between the bottom and the top. They just like shit that looks hardcore. I'm all for the the do or die attitude, but there's got to be substance. This is why people like it's all show no go. Anybody can scream at somebody until they just break and they fall to the ground. But is this based on something? Is it built on something that's going to make you better besides the vague like, oh, well, you know, I survived something hard, so something character development. So when you got somebody who's so generally fatigued, cardiovascularly, psychologically, they're depleted to where they can't do a row with a 45-pound barbell, what is the point of rowing the 45-pound barbell?
4, 3, 2, come on. 1.
The rules were simple. Follow whatever Unc does. If he does 100 reps, you do 100 reps. No sitting, no water, always wear hoodies.
Anybody who's trained for like an actual bodybuilding contest or an actual powerlifting meet, anybody who's trained with an actual crew knows how difficult good training actually is. Like if you're working with the weights you're supposed to be working with, you're getting close to failure, you're doing the amount of volume, you're trying to progress everything, you're competitive, you're going at it. That is difficult enough. When you start making that shit difficult to where it's like difficult to get to that threshold you need to get to because you're putting all the roadblocks in the way. It's like tripping over your own feet. This doesn't make any fucking sense. It's all shit that's just generally uncomfortable and gets in the way of your training, and that's supposed to like weed people out. In reality, you're going to see that Unc likes being in charge, and these rules don't have really anything to do with making anybody better or even building a cohesive team. He's going to say that that's why it is, but really he just likes yelling at people. He likes putting people in a corner to do shit where they don't want to do it because it's hard, and he gets to snap at you if you fall out of line. If you compare this to any other formal system that has to produce results on the back end, football practice, if you're at an MMA camp, if you were at Westside back in the day, if you were like a Bulgarian weightlifter, every single one of those people, I would argue, have to live a harder life than these people do because they have to put out the effort while walking the line of the process and paying attention to the process that is going to get them to where they want to be. Pushing yourself while you're in the pocket is a very difficult thing to do, but treating your body as just meat and just trying to wring everything out of it, it's dumb. And it's a dumb person's idea of what hardcore training is. And unfortunately, that aesthetic sells. I mean, it's the same thing with Strength Cartel. People like the visualization of the guys in hoodies and, you know, the screaming, the yelling, the run in the hills. It builds an aesthetic in their head that they can romanticize, where what people should be doing is looking at the most successful, say, what do they do, and romanticize that. When people start improvising and doing their performative bullshit of what they think success looks like, it very often gets to a toxic, dysfunctional place. And I think this place is a good example of that.
It made everything even harder. It looked like torture. Shea built this endurance over many years. Everyone who trained with him experienced something different. It wasn't just about building muscle. It was about mental toughness. The three members gained a lot of attention because of their extreme training style, though not all of it was positive. Many people...
So like they're the horsing around, the yelling, the volatile emotions, the throwing hands, you know, getting physical when it doesn't merit it. And you'll notice too the asymmetry. I remember seeing this clip. There are, I don't know, what you would call alpha-centric groups where you got a bunch of people that are all kind of rough around the edges, all tough. They're not afraid to get their hands dirty. And you'll have these kind of rivalries where people will antagonize each other. But this is very asymmetrical because Unc is in charge and he can take his liberties. It'll seem like Hottie is like pushing back or whatever, talking shit. And he might even tell himself that they're peers or whatever. But it's very much Unc is in charge and he gets to kind of bully people around as he sees fit. And when he obviously goes too far, that's when it becomes evident they're only putting up with it because they've bought into the dynamic as he's selling it. That, well, you want to be tough, you want to be hardcore, you want to be the guy at the most dangerous gym. It's like you got to do it. There's a very important lesson about relationships that a lot of times, in fact, I would say most times, the people that are kind of the most abusive or egregious in their, whether it's their relationships or their friendships, it comes with a very nasty barb that they have to sink into people, which is getting the other person to believe that they need to deal with it in order to be X, Y, or Z, in order to be tougher, in order to be loyal, in order to be the type of person I want to be. It's actually in my best interest that I'm doing this. It's for my own good. So he's done a very good job of convincing people that if they don't take his bullshit, there's something wrong with them. The truth is every single one of these people could go form their own training crew, go through a regular ass program. They'd be a lot bigger, a lot stronger. They'd be every bit as much conditioned. They'd probably be less injured and they wouldn't have to get slapped in the face by Unc. Now to everybody that looks at this and they romanticize that there is some edge they get, like it's going to make you better on the street, it's going to make you better in prison. I promise you the fuck it is not. First of all, there's no doing better on the street. There's just engaging in violent scenarios and hoping that you make it out in one piece. Being more violent yourself doesn't somehow guarantee that you're going to have a longer lifespan than everybody else around you. If we're talking about getting into fights, defending yourself, whatever, if you want to do that, go learn how to fight. I can tell you that running hills and doing 300 burpees and lifting weights, it's not going to make you a better fighter, especially against somebody that actually knows how to throw hands or knows how to wrestle. So no matter what, there's no getting out of it. Whatever your goal is, there's a system to get you there. And I think it's just generally dumb people that look at the aesthetic and derive from that, oh, this must be the way to do it.
People criticize the harshness of their approach.
And I also remember seeing Unk. Unk was like terrorizing the camera guy. Because the camera guy's in his, I think it's Hotties. So part of the hierarchy is that if Hottie is subordinate to him, so is his cameraman, and he treats him like the bitch, like he's not part of the crew, he's not doing what they're doing, but he talks shit and he checks him and he makes things uncomfortable for no fucking reason, except that the guy's got an ego and he thinks he's rationalized that being an incredible dickhead to everybody is somehow in their own good. Now, he talked at the beginning like, I grew up around drugs, death, murder, my mindset's different. But unfortunately, his mindset is not to improve upon or get out of that scenario, because it is this type of behavior, the personality types, that contribute to communities that are generally fucked up. I was actually surprised to see, hey, he was in college, to be a lawyer at one point. He ended up being a firefighter, because the type of behavior is really counterproductive to those types of environments where there does have to be a pro-social element. You have to get along with other people. You have to work together to get the outcome. I mean, these are very much the dynamics you just pick up in areas where there's just a lot of unemployment and there's a lot of violence and a lot of shit that doesn't really help facilitate what we would consider a modern civilization. What I'd like to see is somebody that went through what he went through, take the toughness, take the edge, but find a way to funnel it into something that's productive and not self-destructive. This is self-destructive, because the second that Hottie or anybody else realizes, oh, I don't have to throw up during every workout, I don't have to run the hill, I don't have to get slapped in the face or have my associates harassed, actually, I don't need to do any of this, none of it's in my best interest, they can leave. They're going to realize eventually that the abuse they take is voluntary. They can decide not to participate, and then where's Unk left? He has no leverage. And that's true of a lot of people in that situation, where what seems like abuse or a domineering mentality or whatever, it's because other people voluntarily participate. And that's something that a lot of people don't like to admit, because it then puts responsibility at their feet. But you do have a responsibility. You have the responsibility to preserve and protect yourself. If you have the capacity to get out of the situation, get out of the fucking situation.
Community that's ravaged with death and violence.
Nah, lucky I ain't. Nah, you lucky I did.
If you call that plague, there's something wrong with you. This guy already lost a toe. Being here, you try to break his neck, his Adam's apple, that's not a joke.
This is a part of our physical, mental therapy.
How is this part of rehab and physical therapy? To be bullied, made fun of, punched, tortured in the gym, that's part of your therapy? You're gonna need therapy for this therapy.
You guys are on it. Tell me more. What was your pain?
Does Will not look like a hostage here? I don't believe anything that Will is saying at this point. He just wants to walk out of this gym with his own life.
I do think it's funny how they all gather around and then jerk everybody off about what an experience it was and how cool it is, all the teamwork or whatever. They're high on the euphoria. They're just happy they made it out alive. They're like, let me tell you why all of this is validated. Note that nobody else is going back for round two. Nobody with any stakes is going to be like, yeah, I need to make that my day to day. You're not going to see Larry Wheels going back. You're not going to see Will Tennyson going back, and they're not going to be emulating this because they know it's fucking stupid. And the unfortunate part of all of that is it means that you, the person watching this stuff that they're complicit in selling it to, you're the person that's being led to believe that there is something special about this. Like, you should be giving this a look. Why don't you lift more? Why don't you do more like this? This is where it's at. So they're dropping by, they're going through the bullshit, they're getting the views, and they're co-signing it, giving an endorsement at the fucking end of it, and then they're going back as far away from this silly shit as they possibly can.
What happened to Unk? Will he keep making content? Many questions, but no clear answers. Thanks for watching. Drop a like if you enjoyed.
That was a pretty sudden end. The biggest problem with all this from this video and all the clips I've seen, this is not a stable, cohesive social dynamic. Essentially, you got Unk you got Hottie down here. They're not even. Hottie is very much subordinate to Unk, and Unk commands all of the attention and respect. He gives himself the right to impose his will on these other people, to be loud, to be in your face, put his hands on you, and make just the most ridiculous demands, like not drinking water or doing a bunch of cardio in between your sets for no other reason than it makes him feel good. He likes being the guy telling you what to do. If you were to take this vibe and you were to buffer the bullshit by having a couple of other people that were kind of on Unk's level, who were maybe just as intense, but each one had their own approach, then you get something that looks like stability because there's checks and balances. It's not just you with this huge oppressive force that's fucking up your entire workout, making you deal with a bunch of bullshit. So this is very much the Unk show, and I don't think it's going to be very long before there's not a lot left. I don't think this is sustainable. Much less chaotic training facilities have fallen apart due to a lot less. And if you're Hottie, you got to deal with people basically calling you a cuck or a bottom or emasculating you because of the fact that you not only put up with all this bullshit, but then you speak about it as if there's something special and noble about it. You know, that's Stockholm syndrome, bro. It's perfectly okay to have respect for somebody for the lessons they gave you, or if you feel like you are generally better, while also recognizing that there's a lot of shit that there's no reason you would ever have to tolerate. Is there something to it? Am I out of line? You think they're going to be around much longer? That's what I'm interested in. Leave your comments below. Thanks so much for watching. Till next time, this is Bromley. I'll see you.